What's going on, everybody? Doc and Sloth, Average Gamer guys, we're back yet again, jumping into some Rocket League, playing some 2v2 competitive. But Sloth, what are we really talking about here?
Well, we've gotten decently into the trading community. I won't say big time in. I don't think we put enough money in for all that, but we've gotten decently entrenched into the Rocket League trading community, and we've started to see a trend. Obviously, when the new items come out, so we use Nitro crates as an example. When the new stuff comes out, it's super expensive when it first comes out, and then the market kind of settles out. And that's what you see a lot of people do, is they wait for things to settle out before they buy things from the new crate, things like that. But the problem is the market settles out for about a week, and then everything starts to tank again because everybody's looking forward to the new crates.
Yes.
And we end up, I should say, in a situation similar to where we are right now, where the market's kind of dead. Nobody wants to spend their value on anything because the new stuff's coming out. So they're saving up all of their trade capital and all that because everybody's focused on making a profit from trading. So it's not about what I like, what I want, the setup for my car that I want to have. It's about, I want to profit from this trade because this trade sheet says that I am underpaying by 0.1, and that's good, and all of this stuff. It's just a really big focus on profiteering, and that's about it.
Yeah, it does become, to a certain point, frustrating, especially for, honestly, for me, like, personally. It's okay that some items lose value. I have no problems with that, and I just bean that. Um, and that's fine. Like we said, the new items, the hype is going to die down. Their values will kind of even out. Some of it will probably maybe knee-jerk reaction go the other way and maybe not be, maybe be a little bit too inexpensive at some points. But for the most part, I think everything generally probably settles to where people's actual interest is. Unlike when everything's new and you got the hype for it, it's obviously really high. Now, the flip side of that, like we've kind of been talking about here for the past few minutes, is the fact that the trading community at some point, it has to be even. We're on the subreddit, we're on Rocket League Garage, like Sloth said, pretty consistently. And the one thing I think that that peeves me the most, if I had to go there, would be the fact that, and I guess you probably don't see this as much on the subreddit as you do in some other areas, but the whole, I know what values and items are worth, and this is an overpay, or I'm only taking overpays. And it's like, that doesn't work. Like, not everyone can always be looking for an overpay on items, because then no one actually would ever trade. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's the most frustrating part, and I think you see that the most when I screwed you there. I think you see that the most, especially when we get into these weird periods where, again, like you said, the new crate, the newest crate is kind of old. The next crate is on the verge of coming out, and it puts us in that weird period.
Yeah, and we're starting to see, especially in this little time frame here, is also scammers everywhere.
Oh,
Personally, Rocket League Garage, I feel like is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. It's just scammers everywhere,
which is
which is frustrating.
it is frustrating because it's not always like that. At least, especially with some of the first trades that I was starting to get into, that's what I use because it's easily accessible. It's great to post. It's pretty easy. You can definitely put, everything that you're looking for on there. It's easy to search. But yeah, like you said, it sucks. And that's kind of the additional thing that we wanted to say about this video was be careful out there. If you are kind of newer to the game and you're trying to get into the trading community, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And it's definitely like that. And that's the case for Rocket League Garage, sadly, at least at this moment.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think Rocket League Garage is really smart in that they don't have to moderate interactions between users, because they say, okay, if you're trading on Xbox, send each other Xbox messages, and I don't have to moderate the communication that happens between those two people when that's happening.
Right.
Which is really, really smart. But it also means that they have no form of reporting scammers and reporting things that happen.
Right.
So I mean, but that's exactly what they're trying not to do, is to moderate that content. So I mean, that's a double-edged sword there. I can't put that ball in the hole.
That was almost sick.
I'm trying out the Octane for the first time in like 6 months, and I'm actually liking it more than I ever have before. But it's definitely a learning curve to get used to. But with that, I mean, that's why I personally like to use the subreddit, because there's a really easy way to tell if somebody just created an account. You know, you can look through if you're seeing any trade offers, or you know, you see somebody that you're actually making a deal with, you can then really easily go to their name and see how long have they been on the sub, what have they been doing, and you know, what have they done before. And if they're a jerk, or you know, if they just made the account yesterday and they've not posted ever before, I'm gonna see red flags there.
Right.
Things like that. It's really nice to be able to try and protect yourself with stuff, because Reddit will kind of have its own self-moderation built in.
Right, because for those of you that might be unfamiliar or new, the fact that you can post, people can see your posts, people can see the majority of the responses that you get, and there is obviously the private message function, but the fact that you can kind of talk and people, almost to a certain extent, can self-moderate amongst the community inside of your post, you know, saying if that's a good deal, or at least reasonable deals for the most part. You know, definitely helps that, I think.
Yeah.
I should have blocked.
And I mean, there's a, oh boy, that's my bad. There's a good portion of like self-protection and self-moderation, like you were talking about. But you know, with that, like, because of that, if somebody sends me an offer in a private message, probably not even paying attention to what your offer is. You're definitely not getting a response, because there's a reason you're posting privately as opposed to putting it out there where the rest of the community can see it. And I'm going to assume it's because you're trying to get one over on me, or you know, try to take advantage in some way. And you know, I don't know. I'm not all about the profit, but you know, I'm not about feeding into the people that are trying to take advantage of others. So that's just kind of how that is. I'm gonna put that on net. Holy cow!
Got lucky there. Definitely with that. Yeah, and that kind of goes back. It's a full circle, at least for me. But like I said, the trades always can't be profitable. You know, ideally trades, to some extent, you're looking for things to be even, or as close to even as they can. You know, especially if people have, I would say probably uncommon toppers, crates being some of those items that, you know, are okay to add in if you really want to push your trade over the edge. But the problem I have is when people are, you know, they talk heat values and all these other things, which is, honestly, it kind of stinks that that's what the Xbox trade community has to be. I kind of wish we could do the keys, and that's been one thing that I think, you know, has been something that people have said for a long time. You know, but on that, it is what it is. Heats are kind of that currency that everyone uses, which I think is fair. And like we said earlier, the trades can't always be positive. I think you start to see some of that, especially when people have things and a new crate and new items come out. When people have things that others really want, they're willing to overpay a little bit, and that's where I think that mentality kind of sticks with people sometimes, and they don't always realize that once those are gone, uh, that's probably not going to continue to work. This was a great terrible hit by me.
It's good. I'm still trying to find my hit with my stride with the mantis, but the whole trading section, and I've never really been big into like in-game markets and stuff on other games, but I've seen from others that it's weird that this is like a profiteering kind of economy, because there's so many other games that you can make so much more like actual money, actual currency off of, compared to our options on Rocket League. It's just interesting, but there's a decent amount of things you can do to protect yourself, because unless you're saving up the crates to kind of get trade capital without spending the money, you're probably putting a decent amount of money into the game.
Yeah.
And we don't want to see that kind of turn around and then come back to bite you, because I see it on the subreddit all the time. People post about how they got scammed, and like it just turns into, I'm kind of done with this game. I spent $300 in keys over the course of X amount of time, and I had this much of worth in value, which is usually a ton, and my account got wiped, and now I'm done. And that sucks. We hate to see people leave the community, because it's such a great game that I'm terrible at. But it's such a great game, and to see people leave it, it's worth noting it's really late and we're getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
But to see people leave and stuff because they got scammed and all that stuff, it just sucks. That's not what we're going for. But we just kind of wanted to throw that out there, especially with the kind of the trade market dying before the new crates come out. That's nice save. It's not an uncommon plan. The new crates come out, play the living heck out of this game to get the new crates, and hope to get something good off of it, and then use that to just profiteer, just get a bunch of value off it, which is fine, because at that point it's people are paying a premium for an item that not a lot of other people have, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. If it's when the Mantis first came out, the Mantis was worth like a Parallax, for one little stupid import car, and that's one thing, because you're paying a premium to get that item early. But that's one thing. But when it's all about 0.1 heat versus 0.2 heat, and you're an idiot if you don't take that deal because I'm overpaying by 0.0125 heats. It's not. It just doesn't make sense, and obviously that's hyperbole, but I've seen pretty dang close to that. And that's usually what it becomes is, you didn't take my trade offer, you're an idiot.
Right.
Because, my trade value is way high, I'm overpaying, and, if you don't take my deal, you're a noob. And it's just, that's just so silly. Like, I can't even fathom the thought processes in that, but...
Yeah,
people don't think it be like it is, but it do.
It's just, and it sucks that, like you said, that there are people out there that's almost kind of what they live for in this game, and that's fine. Again, if you really enjoy it, there was a period, especially when the Nitro crates were pretty fresh, I really enjoyed trading. Like, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to swap items around, and I won't say that I made no profit on any of the trades that I had, because again, like you said, people are willing to pay for the new items, so that's okay. It's when it's when it's all the time. That was a terrible hit.
I'm gonna put that in for you.
I stopped talking because I was trying to concentrate. It's just when
I waited and I was like, yeah.
that guy threw me too. It's just when it's all the time that it gets a little, it wears on you. So if you're out there, if you've been playing the game, if you've been trying to work on your trades, there are still good people out there trying to trade. You can hit me up. I'd love to trade with you. Um, but it's one of those things where just keep in mind, stay vigilant over these next couple weeks at least for the scammers out there, because they are always out there. Sadly, just I guess the world we live in. But just hold fast. We kind of did maybe a little bit of a clickbaity title talking about the Rocket League trading being dead. I definitely do think it is, at least for the time being. Once the new crates come out, I think you'll see a resurgence of people moving items around, trading things that they had before to kind of trade up to that new stuff. So hang in there, I guess is all I really have to say to finish that off.
Yeah, we'll try to actually be awake and be alive for the next time we play.
Yes, yes, that would be very good. But yes, that'll wrap this one up. We got some more Rocket League coming. We'll continue to probably do some 2v2s. Maybe we'll even venture into the 3v3s. We will see. But definitely stay tuned for the next couple weeks. July 5th is the new update. It drops, so you can expect us maybe to do a live stream, potentially. Throwing that out there without talking to Sloth first, which would be sometimes can go bad. But definitely we'll also be getting some content out for that. Try to cover the new crates, some of the new items, and then we'll pick this back up once that new update drops, and kind of reassess the trading community from there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Doc and Sloth, Average Gamer guys, hanging out playing some Rocket League. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all the support. We'll check you in the next one.